Blessings and namaste, everyone. I'm spiritualist, psychic, astrologer, and medium Sette. Thank you once again for allowing me this opportunity to share with you my spiritual and astrological insights into the month of April 2020. Undoubtedly, we are quickly moving through some of the most unprecedented times of our creative human spiritual evolution. And one of the elements, one of the experiences that is taking place astrologically right now, which is actually helping to facilitate the ushering in of the new age, is Saturn moved into the sign of Aquarius. Actually, Saturn began its passage in Aquarius on March 21st and will remain in Aquarius for about 2 years. Saturn requires about 2 years to move through a sign. Saturn, as well as Pluto, are two of the most misunderstood elements in astrology. Every planet, every sign, every aspect has its greatest potential when we allow ourselves to recognize how to work with the energy. Remember, we inspire everyone to work with the energy of astrology, of energy, of just energy overall. Spiritually, whatever that might be for you, because when we work with the energy, we allow ourselves to really become very co-creative with spirit that will allow us to experience all that we enjoy and desire. Remember, spirit does not desire for us to realize our dreams, experience all that may be required of us to fully enjoy this human experience. We're just not always recognizing how it is necessary for us individually to be co-creative with spirit. All of these alignments are opportunities to create what we desire personally as well as collectively. Saturn moving into Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the new age. It's the sign of the humanitarian, the sign of brotherhood, the sign of oneness for all. Wherever Saturn progresses, transits in a chart, it solidifies and strengthens that part of the chart. Many times during a Saturn experience, we feel as though we are restricted or limited, which actually Saturn is giving us the opportunity to become very diligent, very determined. Saturn is the planet of diligence and determination that will allow us to achieve what it is that we desire. Saturn strengthens, Saturn solidifies. So as it has now begun its passage in the sign of the new age, that understanding is very much being solidified within the consciousness of all of us individually and then collectively. Remember, before anything manifests itself in the outside world, it needs to begin within ourselves, within we the people first, whether it be personally or collectively. And I've touched upon this in other videos, how whenever something manifests itself in the outside world, it's just a result of everything that's been dwelling within the collective unconsciousness, the collective consciousness of we the people. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen fear explode in the outside world because it's a release of the fear that we've been all holding within ourselves, and it's time for us to release the fear. When I spoke of the full moon on March 9th, I referred to the moon being in the sign of Virgo, the sun being in the sign of Pisces. Virgo is fear, faith, polarity, faith, fear. Virgo many times does connect with fear. Pisces is pure faith as well as spiritual unconditional love. We are being offered many opportunities to move from that place of fear and to embrace spiritual unconditional love. And certainly Saturn's passage in the sign of brotherhood is very much solidifying this for all of us. In these most precedented times, allow yourself to imagine your ideal life, all the blessings that you would choose to experience while in this human form, because we are being offered the opportunities to create that. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself right now, which actually, no, that is actually segueing me into my next topic, which in 2020, Jupiter and Pluto are coming together in what is called a conjunction, which is a new moon alignment. And as I've said many times before, whenever two elements come together in a conjunction, it indicates the beginning of a new cycle of experience. Just like when the sun and moon come together on a month-to-month basis, it begins a new lunar cycle. When the planets come together, especially when the outer planets come together, it begins a larger, more prominent, profound cycle of experience. The larger planets, specifically Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because they move so very, very slowly, they're considered generational planets and connect specifically with the energy of generations, more so with who is born in that generation, as well as what we are experiencing generationally. Jupiter and Pluto coming together suggests many things. One, specifically, Jupiter is justice. Pluto is the underworld. I'll keep it as simple as I possibly can. We very much will be shown how the underworld, those forces which has kept we the people in a compromised state of well-being, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, all those forces are being brought to justice. Right now, much of that is happening behind the scenes. Today is March 27th, and depending upon when this video will be available to you, I suggest to observe how we will be shown how much of those dark forces really are being brought to justice, and that we are being offered opportunities to really fully experience and enjoy freedom, as well as the blessings that we all desire, or rather, the blessings that we have all been designed, to enjoy while we are in this human form. Also, wherever Jupiter transits in the chart, because Jupiter, look how big Jupiter is. It's the biggest of the planets, the biggest of the gas giants. Jupiter connects with abundance, expansion. Wherever Jupiter transits in our charts, it expands upon the elements of that sector of the chart, the house of the chart. With Jupiter connecting with Pluto, Pluto is the ability to manifest great things on a massive scale. This experience, this opportunity, this alignment of Jupiter and Pluto is very much offering every one of us the ability to recognize, or rather the opportunity to recognize our ability to manifest that whatever it is that we desire. And I always include with that, create all from a place create all from a place of love and humility, not ego, greed, or entitlement. This passage of Jupiter connecting with Pluto, and it will be exact 3 times as we move through this coming year. The first exact alignment is on April 4th. As I said, this is an opportunity to recognize how we are very much creative beings, how we very much co-create with spirits. And certainly we need to facilitate the process. We also have to remember and recognize how sometimes we are sabotaging what it is that we are desiring to experience and create. So I suggest be very careful for what you wish for, because certainly it may be granted upon you, especially as we go through these coming times. I suggest, since we are being offered the opportunity to really direct our attention in our homes right now, allow yourself to be very peaceful within yourself and become abundantly clear with all it is that you desire. And because the underworld is being brought to justice, this is also another opportunity as to why we are being asked to really just kind of stay within our homes, to stay within ourselves, because we are being shielded against much more than we might allow ourselves to recognize, which may not necessarily be connected to the current situation that is taking place right now. So be very diligent in your own spiritual care. Keep yourself spiritually strengthened during these times, and allow yourself to fully embrace your ability to be co-creative beings, the master of your destiny. Being the master of your destiny is very much represented by Pluto, and we are being offered this opportunity to really embrace this element that every one of us has the opportunity to demonstrate when we properly facilitate the process. Our next full moon will be on April 7th. And I've touched upon in the last video how the March 24th new moon began to trigger the eclipse energies of June 21st. June 21st, it's the summer solstice. It's also a new moon. It's also new moon. It's also a solar eclipse. That specifically, the position of that eclipse is at what we refer to as the world point. It's at 0 degrees of Cancer. Now I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but the full moon coming up on April 7th is really stimulating that energy. And this is why we're actually seeing so much happening globally right now, because of that eclipse that is taking place on the world point at 0 degrees of Cancer on June 21st. The 0 degree mark of any cardinal sign, which a cardinal sign is the sign which begins a season. Aries begins the spring, Cancer begins summer, Libra begins fall, Capricorn begins winter. The 0 degrees, it's the world point. Whenever that energy is activated, we see monumental experiences, monumental events happening on a global scale that are designed to elevate the consciousness of every one of us collectively. I've said in the past, or maybe I have not, the eclipse cycles of 2020 are similar to the eclipse cycles which took place in 2001. And look what happened during that time. That does not suggest that we will experience similar events. In fact, we can experience just the opposite. So all of these eclipses, this full moon is really preparing us for welcoming some many blessings. Specifically, a great awakening and a high level of consciousness. A higher level of consciousness. The April 7th full moon is in the sign of Libra, and its alignments with the moon, the sun, as well as Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn at that time, it's creating what we refer to as a T-square aspect. There's sometimes combustive, sometimes volatile energy with that alignment. However, that is creative growth. Remember, all alignments have positive potentials depending upon how we embrace the energy. If we allow ourselves to be consumed by fear, which shall always interfere, which I touched upon in another video, we may miscreate an unfavorable outcome. In every moment of every day, we are called to recognize how we are being offered opportunities to create our realities. Always create from a place of love. Libra, also the sign of, because it's a sign of balance, it's creating balance. This is more connected with a longer cycle of experience. Remember, Libra is the sign of nature. Nature innately understands how to create a balance very naturally where there has been imbalance. And these times are bringing balance, bringing justice to many years of imbalance and injustices. Let's keep ourselves very peaceful. Remember also, Libra is the sign of the pacifist, peace. Create the peace and balance within yourself, and we will certainly enjoy that peace and balance in the outside world. On April 18th, this begins the balsamic moon phase, which prepares us for the new moon. But as we go through the balsamic moon phase, as I said, it begins on April 18th at 7:23 p.m. On April 19th at 10:46 a.m., the sun moves into the sign of Taurus. Taurus connects with all things financially and monetarily. And as the sun moves into Taurus, it will be connecting with the planet Uranus, which is also in Taurus. And what I would like to emphasize with that alignment specifically and as it connects with the new moon on April 22nd. At that time, the Sun, the Moon, and Uranus will be in close proximity to one another. And because of its placement in the new moon chart that is cast for the United States, the fifth house sector of that chart is very much energized. The fifth house is the sector of the chart that connects with creativity. It also connects with children. It connects with divinity. It connects with love. I began discussing many years ago how when we allow ourselves to demonstrate our creativity, we connect with divinity. And when we connect with divinity, we express ourselves creatively. And because this new moon is connecting with that creative element and how we are all creative beings and we are the masters of our destiny, being in the sign of Taurus and connecting with Uranus, we are being given opportunities how we certainly have the ability to create abundance and monetary blessings for ourselves. And once again, create from a place of love, not greed or entitlement. We've been hearing how unemployment is surging during these most unprecedented times, and it does not suggest that any one of us needs to be in a place of lack. Every one of us has come into this human form with the right, if you will, to enjoy the blessings of abundance. And whenever I talk about abundance, I suggest look everywhere in creation. There is abundance everywhere. There's abundance in the leaves, in the trees, in the plants, in the blades of grass, in the drops of water, in the rocks, in the air. There's abundance everywhere. Recognize the abundance that is already around you, and you will amplify and magnify that abundance into all areas of your life. It's also been my understanding for myself personally, and as I said, we've seen unemployment surge, but that does not mean that we are to be fearful, and that spirit will not provide for us everything that we desire and that may be required for us to really enjoy a peaceful existence. We have to allow it. The fear can push away the abundance. Remember that. As I was saying, one of the mantras that I use for myself, that I really began to understand for myself, especially when I broke free from corporate America to pursue this very unconventional path, I understood that the universe is my employer, and I will always, always, always be gainfully employed. Remember, we are not here to experience lack. If you still find yourself perhaps having moments where you're fearing lack, at the time of that balsamic moon, as I referred to earlier, let yourself release the fear of lack. Release that fear, and at the new moon, set the intention clearly, with conviction. Set the intention to perhaps even unexpectedly and in very unique, unconventional ways, allow Spirit to share with you its blessings of abundance. Uranus is a planet of unconventionality. It's also the ruler of Aquarius. If we can just allow ourselves to just think outside the box in terms of our own the blessings of abundance for ourselves, and not tell Spirit how to bring us the abundance, and just allow it to come to us in very unusual ways, that Uranus element will very unexpectedly bring us the blessings of abundance. And that just might be what's happening right now for everyone. We may find ourselves having the opportunity where the blessings of abundance will come to all of us in very unusual, unexpected ways. Do not underestimate the power of Spirit and its intelligence, its knowingness, its ability to create. And remember, all of that is encoded in every one of us. Yes, we are moving through some unprecedented times, which may certainly seem unsettling and uncertain, and Spirit, when we allow it to be so, will always, always share with us its clarity. We have to allow it to be so. Remember that. Once again, I am Spiritualist, Psychic, Astrologer, and Medium, Sette. I thank you for sharing this time with me and offering me and allowing me this opportunity to share with you my insights as to what is unfolding during these most unprecedented of times. As always, if what I share with you resonates with you, that is wonderful. And if it does not reverberate with you, that is also magnificent. I will be returning to Florida in middle of April. I will begin my next residence at the Mystical Moon on April 22nd. My schedule is already filling up very, very quickly, and I'm very excited to come back and share with you some of these wonderful things, some of these amazing, most incredible, blessed opportunities for every one of us. Do not lose sight of that. Remember, we are experiencing a great awakening, and every one of us is really designed to enjoy many, many blessings. Welcome the blessings. Welcome the prosperity. Keep yourself spiritually strengthened. Properly facilitate your body's ability to really protect and shield itself against all interferences. We are experiencing some very exciting times. Remain in the light, always in a place of love, and I will see every one of us very, very soon. Many blessings to everyone.